This bully stole this kid's lunch every single day. The second this kid would sit down in the cafeteria, here he came. Hey, butt boy, give me your lunch. I hate my life. A couple months later, this kid finally got tired of this happening. So he started packing things he knew the bully would hate. Tuna sandwich loaded with onions. Give me your lunch. Okay. The next day, leftover Brussels sprouts and a bag of deli ham. Day 3, hard-boiled eggs and sardines. The whole lunchroom smelled absolutely horrendous. After a week, out of habit, this bully goes up there to grab it. You sure you want it? No. He doesn't. And that was it. He never stole this kid's lunch ever again. That's genius. This teacher was brutal for this. If you misbehaved in class, didn't do your homework, or just got in trouble, you had to erase the whiteboard with your clothes. One afternoon, she calls on this kid to answer a question, but he wasn't listening. Billy! Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question? Oh, you weren't paying attention. Come up here, actually. I need you to erase this part of the board with your sleeve. Can I please not? You see, this kid was wearing a brand new white hoodie that he had got for his birthday from his parents. It was expensive, but she did not care. Now! The kid hesitated for a second, but then he went up there, his sleeve, and the right sleeve of that hoodie was dirty, ruined, was no longer pristine. He goes home, and that afternoon when he walks through his front door, his parents are like, "Yo, son, what happened to your sweatshirt?" So he tells the whole story. His dad didn't even finish listening. He grabbed his keys immediately, got into his car, and headed straight to the school. He brings his son with him. The principal is still in the office. "Hi, excuse me, my wife and I bought our son this brand new hoodie yesterday for his birthday. Look at his sleeve. The teacher made him do that." Apparently, the principal couldn't believe it. That's kind of sinister. So he said, "Don't worry, I'll handle this." As him and his dad were walking out of the office, he heard the principal, "Mrs. Johnson, please head to my office." And by the next morning, they noticed something. That teacher was on her best behavior, and she never made anybody erase the whiteboard with their clothes ever again. This kid's family owned a bounce house company. Every summer, they had this warehouse packed with the inflatable bouncy houses. There were obstacle courses with slides, tons of those giant blower fans to keep these things inflated. Well, one year, during the last week of school, this kid gets a brilliant idea. Monday morning comes, he walks into school carrying a giant roll of raffle tickets. $5 a ticket. Kids keep asking, "So, what do you win?" "You'll see Friday. But I promise, it's awesome." People are curious and they're buying tickets. Some people are pooling money with their friends because they know that this has got to be good. Friday comes. It's the last day of school, and right as the final bell rings, he gathers everybody that bought a ticket. He reaches into a bucket and pulls out the first one. That kid starts screaming. Then another, then a third. 3 winners. Now he finally explains the prize. "Okay, so each winner gets to pick one day this summer, and on that day, I'm gonna drop off a giant bounce house to your yard for the whole day." And people went crazy, because winning didn't just mean you got a bounce house in your yard for the day. It meant your house became the place that every kid wanted to be. It was gonna be a party. And those 3 parties ended up being the biggest and best ones of that summer that nobody ever forgot. The next year, he did it again, and he sold way more tickets than the first year. He made hundreds and hundreds of dollars selling raffle tickets for things his family already had. And that, my friends, is why you gotta respect the hustle. Another stupid school rule, and this one's absolutely ridiculous. This kid's 8th grade teacher had one dumb, crazy rule. You were only allowed to use the bathroom 3 times per semester. Not 3 times per week, not 3 times per month, 3 times per semester. And if you hit that limit, too bad. One day this kid raised his hand. "Hey, can I go to the bathroom?" The teacher sighed. "You've already gone 3 times. "Well, I drink a bunch of water today like a human being, and I have to go to the bathroom." "Well, that's too bad. You should have planned better. Hold it." This dude was absolutely fuming, and he said, "Screw it." A few minutes later, he stood up and walked towards the door. Excuse me, where do you think you're going?" "The bathroom." "If you leave this classroom, you will be sitting in detention, young man." He paused, looked back at her, and said, "That's fine. I'd rather sit in detention than sit in my own piss." And he walked out. The entire class erupted. Oh, nice! The teacher was speechless. She even started crying a little bit. After that day, the school forced her to change that bathroom rule, and they launched an investigation into her teaching methods, as they should. So So this girl had just turned 16 years old, and all she wanted was a simple birthday dinner. Not a party, no gifts, just one dinner with her family. Her parents promised, "Oh, of course, sweetie, we'll go out tonight anywhere you want. Any place at all." I'm so excited. Thank you. She was so excited. She got dressed up, picked out a restaurant, and waited for them to be ready. Except they weren't ready at all. They kept saying stuff like,
just a minute, honey. We're finishing something, sweetie. Just 1 minute.
She was frustrated, but she tried to be patient. So she stopped rushing them, because surely when they were ready, they would tell her. Well, an hour passed, then 2. Finally, she walked downstairs, and she saw her family eating takeout in the living room without her. What's going on? "Oh, hi, honey. We got really busy, so we decided just to order in. You can have some if you want." It was pretty good. Yeah, it's really good. She just stood there. They could have cared less about her birthday dinner. And the worst part is they didn't even realize how much this hurt her. She felt humiliated. So without saying a word, she went into her mom's purse, took out some cash, put her coat on, and walked out the door. Luckily, the restaurant was pretty close to her house, so she walked there. She walked to that restaurant alone, without her family, because, well, you know, she gets in, she sits down, she orders her favorite meal. The server was really nice. "So, how was everything?" "It was really good. Thank you so much." "Are you celebrating anything?" Yeah, it's actually my birthday." "Oh my gosh, happy birthday! I got something for you, 1 sec. The waiter walks away and comes back with a tiny cake and a candle in it. She was flattered. This was the nicest someone's been to her all day. A few minutes later, she asked for the check. The waiter said, "Oh, don't worry, you're all good. This lovely couple over here paid for you." "Happy birthday." "Happy birthday." She was almost brought to tears. That moment meant more to her than anyone would ever know. Well, she then went home, went to bed, and didn't say a word to her family. But from that day on, she stopped expecting anything from them. And on her next birthday, she didn't even tell her family that it was her birthday at all. Her family didn't even remember anyway. That's messed up. This petty principal sucks. One day at this high school, a student came into class 10 minutes late. It was first period. He was still rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Well, the principal just so happened to be doing classroom check-ins that morning. In that classroom. "You're late, Anthony. Why?" "I missed the bus. I ran here. I'm so sorry." "Not good enough. Come with me." She pulls him out in the hallway and just starts laying into him, but she didn't close the classroom door, so that entire class was watching, like, what the heck? You think the world's gonna care? You show up late to a job, you're done. You show up late to college, they drop you. Life's not gonna babysit you, Anthony. Anthony stays quiet. Then she says, "Maybe if you got your life together, you would stop showing up late." That's when Anthony finally let loose. "You want to talk about getting my life together? I get up at 5 a.m. to get my little brother ready for school because nobody else will. I pack his lunch, I make sure he eats, I try to make the bus, but if I miss it, I run here as fast as I can. So don't stand there and talk to me like I'm just some lazy kid. No, you want to lecture somebody? Why don't you start with yourself? At least I'm showing up and still doing something that matters. I'm not just clocking in for a paycheck and going home to a life I hate." If being a bitter old hag was a subject, you'd be an A+ student. Now get out of my face. Dead silent classroom, dead silent hallway. One student in the classroom whispered, "Ain't no way she's coming back from that. Ain't no way." From that day on, Anthony was a legend, and the principal, well, she stopped doing classroom check-ins in that class. Good for him. So this kid, her name is Jennifer. She's 10 years old, she's super chill, she's having dinner with her parents. Her and her family are just talking about school when she casually says this, "Oh, Katie's in my class. That's my teacher's daughter." Totally normal, right? Well, her mom froze. Like fork in her mouth froze, startled, and she goes, "Wait, your teacher's daughter is in her own class?" Jennifer is confused. She's like, "Yeah, I mean, she treats her like everybody else. It's super normal." And her mom's like, "Of course, sweetie. Now go on." She smiles, nods, and sends her kid to go play Minecraft or something. Then she turns to her husband and says this, "This is a full-blown scandal." She starts talking about how this teacher's kid has unfair advantages, like secret access to test answers and stuff like that, like it's a freaking crime show. Her husband's just trying to eat, and he goes, "Are we sure this is a big deal?" Well, apparently that was the wrong move. You're not even willing to stand up for your own daughter? What do you say? And then the next morning, she wakes up and she emails the entire 5th grade team at that school, saying that this kid being in her class is incredibly unfair and that she's going to go to the principal, calling it a terrible case of nepotism, which is just a fancy word for playing favorites, even though there's literally no proof that this teacher is playing favorites at all. She even CC'd her husband on the email. He reads it and he's like, "Yo, you really sent that email? Are you kidding me?" She said that when her husband said that, she got so mad she left the room. Way too disrespectful. You're being a terrible father. Now, it's incredibly awkward for this entire family. The husband is not talking to his wife. He's super pissed because she's being absolutely crazy. There's nothing wrong with a teacher having her own daughter in the classroom. Like, it has nothing to do with them. Jennifer's kind of like, what is going on? She said it's been awkward for her in class as well. And this entire time, the mom is walking around like, I can't believe no one sees what's happening here. This is a scandal. No, it's not. What do you guys think? Hey, you're the guy selling the dresser, right? Yes, sir. $40 and it's yours. This guy was scrolling through Craigslist, looking for some cheap furniture, when he found a solid wooden dresser that he really liked. He meets up with the seller, pays him, and hauls the dresser home. Everything seems totally normal, until he opened up the first drawer. What the heck is this? And inside that drawer was a Ziploc bag full of teeth. Human teeth. And not just like a couple of teeth. We're talking dozens. Different sizes, shapes, colors, some old and yellow, others perfectly white. What is this? He immediately calls the seller. Hey, yeah, hi. So what's in this dresser? Oh, you found the teeth, huh? Yes, I found the teeth. Why are there teeth in this dresser that you sold me? Listen, man, my grandpa was a dentist and those are his collection, okay? A collection of human teeth. Okay, so why are they in the dresser? Oh, that's just where he kept them. Okay, but why are there so many of them, dude? This is kind of crazy. I don't know, bro. He was really passionate about teeth, okay? Now I got a Caesar salad and Love is Blind to watch. Can I go? Yeah, okay, bye. So this guy did what any normal person would do. He kept the teeth. Why? Well, just in case. That guy's grandpa was a serial murderer. The dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. All right, love you guys. I'm going to my friend's house. Okay, don't forget the rules. I won't. The rule was this. She had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she would be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on, come on, come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes... Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks, now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here? Now this is a school business. When this kid was in middle school, he had an idea. So his school banned energy drinks, but kids still wanted them really bad. So he decided to start his secret business. He would bring in cans of energy drinks hidden in his backpack, and he would sell them for $5 a piece. Now at first, it was just a few of his friends buying from him. But word got out, and suddenly everybody wanted to buy from him. Now, business was immediately booming, and because the school banned energy drinks, and he was the only one selling them, he raised his prices to $10 a can, and people still bought them. For months and months, he ran this operation, and he never got caught. He even had a system. He would take orders in the morning, and he would make secret drop-offs in between classes. But one day, a gym teacher saw him hand an energy drink to another student and take money from him. Instead of shutting this kid down and turning him in, all he said was, "Be careful." So he kept going. Then, one day, the principal got involved. A teacher saw a kid chugging an energy drink in the hallway, so the teacher inquired, and that kid snitched. The principal pulled this kid into the office, and just like that, the business was shut down. But, in total, he made over $7,000. You gotta respect the hustle. Now, this principal had a secret. This person said that back in 8th grade, there was a principal named Mr. Reynolds, and Mr. Reynolds was way too intense. He had this whole no phones in school rule, but he took it to a weird level. If he even saw the outline of your phone in your pocket, he would stop you in the hallway. Give it to me. No, I'm not even using it. Doesn't matter, you know the rules. And the worst part, he'd keep it locked in his office until the end of the day. And if it was like the 3rd or 4th time he had to take your phone away from you, your parents would have to come in and get it. So absolutely just crazy. Well, this one girl, let's call her Ashley. She had had enough. He took her phone one day for checking the time during lunch. Hey, give me that! I'm literally checking the time. You know the rules. So the next day, she told her older brother, who was already graduated but still had friends at the school. And he came up with a plan. Got you, sis. That weekend, Ashley's brother made a fake email address, pretending to be from the school's IT department. And he sent an email to the school board, saying there was suspicious activity coming from the principal's computer. Send. Take that, Mr. Reynolds. Now, he was just trying to make Mr. Reynolds' life a living hell. He didn't think anything of it, really. Just to mess with him real bad. But on Monday, an actual person from the school district showed up at that school. Turns out, Mr. Reynolds had a handful of students' phones backed up on his computer. He found out how to bypass passcodes, and some of them didn't even have passcodes, so he was just uploading stuff to his computer. Text messages, photos, everything. A complete invasion of privacy and super, super creepy. And he was fired on the spot. So Ashley's brother, trying to prank the principal, turned out to be something that actually needed to happen. This dude was messed up. No goodbyes, just walked out the building while the students watched. Get a life, loser! Screw you, Mr. Reynolds! You're a freaking creep! Bye! Ashley got her phone back, and the students got a principal that actually cared about them. This dude's funny as heck. This dude's in middle school, and apparently one of his teachers has this rule. No slang words allowed in class. If you used words like cool or dude, she would immediately correct you. One day, the teacher was explaining a lesson, and a kid in the back muttered, "Yo, that's low-key interesting." The teacher froze. She whipped around, pointed at him, and said,
"Hey, we do not use slang in this classroom. You meant to say it's rather interesting, right?"
The whole class went silent, but that kid wasn't gonna let it slide. The next day he came in with a plan. He printed off a whole bunch of Shakespeare insults, words, and phrases. Stuff like, "Thou art a saucy knave," and "Fie upon thee, scoundrel." Then, anytime the teacher asked a question, he would only respond using old-fashioned English.
So what's the theme of this story, class?
"Verily, good madam, it doth speak of betrayal most foul."
What are you doing? To speak normally.
And that's when he hit her with the, "But thou hast forbidden me from using common tongue." The class lost it. "Oh, he got you, miss." And after that day, the no slang rule mysteriously disappeared. I wonder why. Wait, forks cost money now? Yeah, and Isaiah's making a fortune off of it. So here's what happened. At this one school, there was a pretty small school. In their lunchroom, they used real forks. Well, these forks started to go missing. Like every day, kids are accidentally tossing them out, leaving them on the ground, or straight up taking them home. Finally, the lunch lady snaps. That's it, new rule. Forks cost 50 cents. If you want one, you pay, and you better return it. Basically, it's a rental fee for your fork. Well, this kid named Isaiah, he sees an opportunity. The next day, he pulls up to lunch with a backpack full of Costco plastic forks. One fork, 25 cents. Two for 40 cents. Tell your friends. It spreads fast. He's got bundles, different colors, custom sizes, some with graphics on them that he calls limited edition. Yo, let me get 2 SpongeBob forks for my ravioli. Say less. The cafeteria staff notices this, and the principal steps in. "Are you running an unauthorized utensil ring in my cafeteria?" "Well, sir, I'm just providing students with a better utensil option." Making pretty good money, too. He gets written up, they confiscate his inventory, and by Friday, the cafeteria stops charging for forks. But that never actually fixed the problem, because kids were still taking these forks home or accidentally throwing them away. Hey, what can you do? What can you do? This kid exposed his own teacher, but then it backfired. Let's call this kid Jake. And recently, Jake had been noticing something strange. The star quarterback, let's call him Ryan, never studied, never did his homework, but he managed to get perfect scores on every test. Well, one day, Jake was staying after class a little bit to ask the teacher a question when he noticed something. The teacher hands Ryan a piece of paper and says, "Memorize these." That's when Jake realizes the teacher is giving him the answers to the test. Well, he thought. No wonder he keeps getting perfect scores. The teacher is helping him cheat. The teacher's helping him remain on the football team. Instead of snitching, Jake gets smart. He starts watching Ryan, catches him in the library, memorizing stuff from the exact paper the teacher gave him. Jake slowly walks behind Ryan and secretly takes a picture of the paper. Then on test day, he takes a picture of his test. The answer sheet that Ryan was memorizing matches exactly to the test they received. He got it. Proof. The teacher and Ryan were caught. Well, instead of turning this into the principal or whatever, he showed the teacher. He blackmailed her. "Hey, yeah, see this? Look familiar? And see this? That's our test from today. The exact same." "I know what you're doing." "Oh my god." "Well, no. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna start giving me the answers to every test. or I'm taking these pictures and I'm telling the school board and you're fired.
Okay.
That's blackmail, baby. Now Jake starts getting perfect scores on every single test. But this all came crumbling down. Apparently, another student in the class had stayed behind and heard Jake tell the teacher this. That student went to the principal. What happened? Well, the teacher was fired, Ryan was benched and never played football again, and Jake, he got suspended. My name is Mike, and today's my first day at a new school. Oh, I forgot to mention I'm a bully, and I plan to be the biggest bully here. Are you a bully? Yeah, are you? Yeah, today's my first day. I'm Mike. Hey, I'm Chad. Nice to meet you, man. So, who's easy pickings around here? I love to bully that guy. How about that dude? That's Kyle. I wouldn't bully him if I were you. It's not worth it. Yeah, right, it's always worth it. I'm gonna bully him right now. Hey, loser. Who are you? I'm Mike. I'm the new bully here, and I'm gonna make your life a living hell. Oh, really? Just like how you make your parents' life a living hell? Oh, I'm sorry, should I say parent? I'm sure your mom doesn't even know who your dad is. Wait, what? You donkey-looking, big-head, hat-wearing fool. I bet you eat cereal with water because your dad never came home with the milk. You suck, man. Well, you suck more. For less. I told you, bro. I miss my old school. At this one house, Wi-Fi didn't belong to the kids. It belonged to her. Every single night at 9 p.m., this kid's mom would walk over to the router, unplug it, and announce, "The internet is closed. See you tomorrow." Didn't matter if you needed the internet for something. She would always unplug it at 9 p.m. Well, one night, this kid is sitting at his kitchen table. He's finishing a huge essay that's due at midnight. The clock says 8:59 p.m. He's typing. He doesn't really notice the time, but he's cooking. He's writing this freaking essay. He's ready to get an A on this thing. 1 minute passes. Boom, it's 9 p.m. Oh, what happened? I'm sorry. You had all day to prepare for this. Too bad. This is a huge essay. I'm almost done. I need like just 10 more minutes, please. I said you should have planned better, son. Too bad. This kid is absolutely livid. He tries to figure out a way to get Wi-Fi from his neighbor's house or to have someone drive him to like a Starbucks or something, but he couldn't figure it out. Well, midnight comes and goes and the essay was never uploaded. And he's worried because if he gets a 0 on this, his grade is going to severely suffer. Well, the next day at school, he tells his teacher what happened, and the teacher looks appalled. Yo, your mom cut the Wi-Fi while you were doing your essay? Yeah. Man, that sucks. Listen, I'll extend your deadline for tonight. You should be able to finish it after school. Oh, totally, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Your mom sounds like a piece of work. Yeah, she is. And that night, he was able to finish it. What a good teacher. Is that popcorn I smell? Room 114. Bring $1. Garlic cheddar just dropped. So this kid's school had a rule where you couldn't sell anything during school hours or on school grounds. And he wanted to start a business like many people do because it's the frickin' hustle, baby. Well, one year he got something for Christmas. It was a mini popcorn machine. So one day he brought it into school. It wasn't the big carnival one, it was one of those mini ones that you could put on a countertop. Well, on this day, he left it in the back of this empty classroom. The one that nobody used anymore. And he had an extension cord running from the popcorn machine to an outlet. Nobody noticed. And then he made signs to pass out. Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. Room 114. At lunch, he'd leave the door open just enough, so people could smell the popcorn as they were walking towards the room. He had everything. He had cups, he had flavors, cheddar, garlic, ranch, even sweet chili. And what was genius was that he wasn't technically selling anything, so he couldn't really get in trouble. It's just popcorn. I offer it and they donate. Business boomed. He had his friends standing around the hallway and going through the lunchroom telling them that room 14 has free popcorn. He even had Tabasco sauce packets to level it up. And if you guys never put hot sauce in your popcorn, you're severely missing out. It is a snack, I'm telling you. They started calling room 14 the Pop Shack. Now, teachers did start to notice this, mostly because of the smell. Eventually, the principal tracked it down and headed to room 114. What is this? Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. You want some? The vice principal paused. He looked around. There was even a tip jar. He was impressed. Honestly, smells pretty good. Yeah, I'll take a cup of this sweet chili, and then you guys can just carry on. Here's a $5. That was that. They let him keep doing what he was doing. The only rules were this: no smoke, no fire, and no mess. And they had to have a teacher nearby to check in every so often, which they all agreed to. That was very reasonable. And by the end of the year, this kid had earned over $600 in donations. That is legendary behavior. This school said it was doing something new for safety, just adding tiny audio monitors right outside the bathroom. It's not a camera, it would just record sound. The principal said it was to prevent fighting, loitering, and other nefarious activities. Weird, but technically legal, so most people just ignored it. But a few weeks in, something strange happened. Kids kept joking how they could overhear like a feedback noise in the vents, like a weird clicking or popping noise when you hold your phone out. Well, one janitor overheard this and he did not like it. So one night after hours, he checked the ceiling above the boys' bathroom, and that's when he found it. A live microphone inside the bathroom. He didn't say anything right away. Instead, he pulled it down, took pictures of it, and called a parent that he trusted. The parent didn't call the principal. She called a lawyer. And then the news. By the end of the week, it was everywhere. Turns out the principal had installed 6 audio devices in bathrooms across the school. No signs, no disclosure, no permission. By Thursday morning, a school district representative entered the school, walked into the principal's office, and 15 minutes later, the principal left the school holding a box. He was fired. And the janitor, he got like 30 gift cards from thankful students and parents. That janitor definitely did the right thing. So one day in 7th grade, this kid got called into the principal's office. He had no idea why. He walks in, sits down, and the principal just stared at him. The principal asks, "So, you want to tell me what you did?" The kid's confused. "I have no idea what you're talking about." That's when the teacher walks in, and she looks pissed. "Don't play dumb, you know exactly what you did." Now the kid's kind of panicking. "I swear I don't know, what did I do?" "You skipped my class yesterday, but I know you were at school because I saw you before and after lunch." "What were you doing?" "Huh? Probably something illegal." But here's the thing. He was literally in her class yesterday. "No, I wasn't. I was in class. I was sitting on my usual seat." "You're crazy. I took attendance, and you were not there. Detention." Now, at this point, this kid is super frustrated. He already did not like this teacher. Now she's accusing him of skipping her class for whatever reason. So he asks the principal one simple question. "You have security cameras in every hallway, right?" Of course we do, yeah, for the safety of the school." "Then check them." The room goes silent. The teacher grows pale because she knows she messed up. They send the kid to sit outside the office while they looked at the cameras, and 15 minutes later, they called him back in. "We checked the footage. You were in class." "I know." "You can go. I'll handle your teacher." But as he was walking away from the office, he could hear the principal yelling at the teacher. "Now why on God's green earth would you make something like that up?" "Oh, I didn't. You better shut your mouth." "You want thin ice? You want thin ice?" One day in middle school, this kid was in math class, completely bored out of his mind. So instead of reviewing the packet he was given, he was doodling a picture in his notebook. He was sketching a cartoon of that teacher. Weird haircut, holding a ruler like it's a sword. I mean, it was kind of brutal, but it was funny. Well, suddenly the teacher walks by and she sees it. "Is this supposed to be me?" "No." She snatches the paper, holds it up like it's evidence. "Think this is funny? Office, now." He's like, "Yep, I'm done for. Detention for sure." He walks down to the principal's office, nervous. He gets in there and he hands the principal the picture that he drew of his teacher, expecting the worst. The principal stares at it, silent for a second, and then he bursts out laughing. Okay. All right, first of all, man, this is spot on. Kudos to you. Second of all, I've been telling her to fix her hair for 3 years. Really? "Oh, yeah. Hey, pass me that red marker." "Okay." He takes the red marker and draws flames behind her on the picture. Boom. Now it's art. I'm gonna keep this, all right? For me. Go to class, man. You're good. Oh, all right. No detention, no punishment, just a really cool interaction with a super cool principal. That's awesome. I'm addicted to making money at school, and one morning, I had an idea. On my bike ride to school, I stopped into the local Target, and I bought a bunch of packs of socks. Then at school that day, I waited until it was gym class. I didn't go to class. Instead, when gym class was over, I waited outside the doors of the locker room as the students came in to change into their normal clothes. Well, I cracked open the door a little bit and I peeked. Once all of their shoes were off and they were only in their socks, I poured a bucket of water on the floor, getting everybody's socks soaking wet. I got my brand new packet of socks, then I went in. "What's wrong, guys?" "I don't know, man. A bunch of water came in here. All of our socks are soaking wet. This sucks." "Oh, man, that's really unfortunate. I don't even know what I'm going to do now. This is going to suck for the rest of the day. I actually have brand new socks right here in this duffel bag." "Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'll take some socks." "Yeah, me too." "And want some socks, too." "Oh, not so fast, man. It's $2 per sock." $2 for a pair of socks?
Oh no, I think you heard me wrong. $2 per sock. $4 per pair.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying that.
Enjoy the rest of the day with your squishy sock feet.
Wait.
Here's 4. That's what I thought. Today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, this is Channel 3 School News with your top story. At approximately 9:08 a.m. yesterday, a 6th grade student constructed a fully functional toll booth in the main hallway, using nothing but masking tape, a clipboard, and what seemed to be a strong sense of purpose. Eyewitnesses state the student was wearing sunglasses and would stand there with his hand out, calmly stating, "That's $1 to pass, exact change only." Over the next 12 minutes, multiple students complied. One teacher walked through without paying, and she was booed. It's just, what makes you so special? We're all paying the toll, so should you. So we booed her. By 9:20 a.m., this student had collected $28 in singles and exact change. He offered receipts, he stamped hands. He told students premium passes were coming soon. When asked why he was doing this, this was his reply. It's a good idea, right? I just came up with it. I thought there's no way I'm going to get away with this. But I did. As the morning went on, the hallway bottlenecked. The late bell rang. Chaos was beginning to ensue. By 9:26 a.m., administration intervened. The toll booth was dismantled. The tape was peeled and the clipboard was seized. When asked if he had any other things planned in the near future, he responded, "Oh, just you wait." And back to you. This dude had a super weird experience at a friend's house. This kid said he used to hang out at a friend's place after school. Nice house, quiet neighborhood, totally normal. But every time he walked in that house, the mom would always say the exact same thing. "Shoes off, kids, and don't touch the walls." Now at first, this kid thought that this lady was just a clean freak. Until one day, when he leaned on a wall, barely. She came around the corner instantly, like she'd been watching. She didn't yell. She didn't get mad. She just handed him a paper towel and pointed at the spot. "Wipe it until it's gone, please." The weird part? There was nothing on the wall. No smudge, no print, no mark, but he just wiped it anyway. What is going on? Later that night, he asked his friend what that was all about. "Yo, what was that all about?" His friend just said, "Well, she thinks that walls remember everything. Like if you touch a wall or lean on it, you leave a piece of yourself behind." Your mom's nuts. Whatever, he went home and he just tried to forget about that weird moment, but a week later, he heard that his friend's house had been repainted, the entire interior. When he asked his friend what the reason was, his friend replied, "My mom said too many people touched the walls, so she repainted it to give the house a fresh start." Bro, what? That mom might need a little help, okay? She really did that? Yup. Well, let's get her fired. There was this one teacher. Strict, rude, completely unpredictable. She'd take off points for sloppy handwriting, dock your grade if you turned something in 5 seconds late, and she would also lose assignments like it was nothing. "Steven, where's your homework?" "I literally turned it in." "Well, I can't find it, so no, you didn't." At first, everybody rolled with it, but she kept pushing. Like one time, she graded a full assignment a 0 because the kid printed it double-sided. "It's harder for me to read. I can't even read this." The moment these kids really snapped, though, was when a student turned in a 3-page paper. It was perfectly done, but he forgot to staple it, and there was no stapler in the classroom. What the heck is 0? Why? Life has consequences. Next time, remember the staple. And that's the point when the class was like, nah, they were done. They started screenshotting their grades, along with the assignment that the grade was for. They recorded her when she was yelling at students. They would save emails that she would send to them where she contradicted herself or made herself look like a horrible teacher. This one kid had a folder on his laptop called Operation Bring Her Down. Once they got a bunch of evidence, they printed everything and put it into a very big packet. They labeled the packet, "Why She Shouldn't Teach." They brought it to the office, and they waited. 3 weeks later, a sub walks into their classroom. No explanation, just, "Everybody, my name is Mr. Johnny, and I'm gonna be your sub for the rest of the year. Okay, your teacher had to go," or something. Okay, she was gone. They did it. No goodbye, no warning, just a pleasant surprise on a Thursday afternoon. Hey, I mean, if she was a horrible teacher, good riddance, right? They're better off. When she was a teenager, her dad was driving her to work at Dairy Queen. They're in the car. "All right, sweetie, this is gonna be a good day." Ugh, I hate working. It's a normal ride so far. Then, out of nowhere, this woman cuts them off on the road. Most people just honk, then move on. But not this dad. He locks in, and he chases her down. They finally get to this red light. He pulls up to the right of her. rolls his window down, and leaps out of the car right under her windshield. Apologize to me right now! Apologize to me right now! Screaming, flailing, right on her windshield. Now, he didn't put the car in park, so you know when you're not driving, the car just goes by itself very slowly. So this girl is in the car, her dad's on somebody else's car, and the car is just rolling slowly into the intersection. So she has to put her foot over the driver's seat and press the gas herself. Once her dad calms down, he gets back in the car and drives her to work like nothing happened. Have a good day, sweetie. Later that night, when everybody's home, they get a knock on the door while they're watching TV. I'll get it. It's the police. Hi, is your dad home? Dad? You're going to jail. And he was arrested. Makes sense. Every neighborhood has that one house, yard where baseballs, frisbees, and dog toys go to die. The guy who lived there is creepy, angry, staring through the windows. Hey, go get the ball. Let's just go inside. Just like that, most kids accept the loss and they go buy a new one. But this one kid, he saw a gap in the market. What's up? He memorized the perimeter of this fenced yard. He knew the holes, the gaps, and he bought a very long pole. He has a 10-foot pole with a high grip claw at the end of it, and he started an extraction service. He pulls up with his bike and the pole like it's a jousting stick. All right, what is it? Baseball? Frisbee? It's my dog's favorite beaver toy. Okay, do you know where it is? No. That's fine. I'll use my drone. He had a drone with a camera so he could see above the yard to where the thing that needs to be extracted is. And then he would get to work. Okay, it's at this corner right here. I have the pole. Go through the gap. Is he watching? No. Got it. But he didn't do it for free. Depending on where in the yard it was, it could be $5, $10, or if the old man was right there watching, $20 because of the risk. But people usually paid. He didn't make bank per se, but he made some good money, and he was a hero to a lot of neighborhood kids. One month he made $100 just by getting things that people were too scared to get themselves. I'd say it's a fair business because there's no way the old man would ever give those things back because he's just crazy like that. And so I say, gotta respect the hustle. These two best friends were next door neighbors. They decided they didn't want to walk around the fence to see each other anymore. So they were going to dig a secret underground tunnel connecting one yard to the other. They started by the shed. I'm digging. They spent 2 weeks while their parents were at work. They both thought they were geniuses. Bro, we're geniuses. Tell me about it. Shoveling, pickaxing, hauling dirt out in wheelbarrows. Well, they were about 6 feet deep and 10 feet across when one of the kids pickaxed something solid. What was that? I don't know. Keep going. They shouldn't have kept going. Instead, he hit this thing again and again and again until burst. Water spraying everywhere. Ah! Bro, this is so bad. It was the water main, the main pipe, and the backyard began to flood. They ran out of that hole. The water didn't stop either. It kept going. The fire department showed up, and then the city workers, and they're like, what the heck is going on here? We were trying to build a tunnel to each other's houses. Where are your parents? They're at work. For the rest of the summer, that kid's yard had to be dug up and they had to repair that pipe. His parents were obviously upset, but they kind of blamed themselves. How did we not know he was digging a tunnel in our backyard? Yeah. That was my question too. That's insane. Careful where you dig. Most teachers have a confiscation drawer, usually full of phones, gum, fidget spinners. This one teacher had a crazy policy. If it's on your desk and it's not a pencil or your work, it's mine until June. She wasn't joking. She was basically like a frickin' pirate. And her desk was the treasure chest, baby. By May, her desk would look like a mix between a museum and a flea market. Stuff everywhere. She had a stack of rare Pokemon cards, a half-finished crochet project from a student trying to make a hat during a test. There were some lucky rocks, and I kid you not, a waffle maker. On the last day of school, everyone would line up. This is to get their stuff back, or at least they hope. But this teacher, see, she didn't just hand it over. Everything on the desk is up for auction. You see, all year, she had been tracking these classroom points. Points you would get from doing well on tests, doing well on homework, good behavior. And at the end of the year, for this auction, that was the only currency that she wanted. Well, the kid who owned the waffle maker only had 50 points. The straight A kid had 500 points. Yeah, I want the waffle maker. Oh, man. But there was a bidding war. All I wanted, 150 points, 200 points. At the end of the day, pretty much everyone walked away with something that wasn't theirs to begin with. And honestly, that sounds kind of fun. If I were in that class, I would rack up those points as much as I could, and I would take all the stuff. That's crazy.
Did you just laugh?
Yeah. You need to follow the rules. So this kid gets invited to his friend's house after school. It's his first time ever hanging out outside of class with this person. He gets there, it seems normal, parents seem chill, the living room smells like candles and soup. They all sit down to watch a movie, totally normal. About 10 minutes in, a funny scene happens, like genuinely funny.
Oh, you smell like my dad.
That's when the friend's mom pauses the movie. She turns to him and she goes, "Excuse me, did you ask me if it was okay to laugh?" The kid kind of sits there blinking. He thinks she's joking. She's not. "I know this is your first time here, so I'll let it slide, but in this house, we don't laugh until someone gives permission. Okay?" He looks at his friend and his friend just nods. The mom adds this: "It just saves us from getting carried away. Laughter leads to chaos." Let's watch the movie. So they just keep watching, and anytime something funny happens, he sits there dead silent, while his friend casually goes, "Requesting laugh? Approved." After that day, he never went back to that friend's house ever again. "As your president, I will eat this banana." So this kid, let's call him Luke. He's in 8th grade, zero political ambition, and zero cares about school elections. One day after gym, his friend is like, "Bro, you should run for class president." "Why?" "I don't know, because nobody else is." Turns out, sign-ups were closing that day, and nobody else decided to run. So Luke, being Luke, he goes to the front office and he puts his name down. The next day, the announcements come on. "Class elections this Friday. We have Luke, just Luke, is running for president." And everyone just starts clowning this whole situation. People are making campaign posters. "Vote for Luke," or "Don't, it doesn't matter, he'll still win," or "Luke 2024, bare minimum effort." And he's leaning into it. He's wearing a wrinkled suit jacket to school, making campaign videos of him eating Lunchables in silence. Well, finally election day hits, and obviously Luke is elected to be the class president. And there's a little assembly at the end of the day. Well, Luke walks up to give a victory speech. He walks up to the mic, he's holding a banana like it's a trophy, peels it halfway, and he just starts eating it into the mic. The whole cafeteria is losing it. Even the teachers are laughing. The principal's standing there, just trying to act like this is normal. Okay. And just like that, Luke is the official class president. He doesn't even know what his frickin' duties are. Well, the next week, the school council handed him a binder that said School Student Government Responsibilities. And it was thick, like 3 inches thick. Meetings, proposals, school fundraiser events. Luke just looked at it, and that's when it hit him. He definitely made a massive mistake. This is everything. God. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to keep order. Shut your mouth. There's this substitute, middle school, real power tripping type of guy. Clipboard in one hand, whistle around his neck, looking like he's coaching for the NBA. He walks into class, first thing he says, "Listen up, I'm not here to be your friend, I'm here to keep order." The whole class side-eyes each other, like, who does this guy think he is? 15 minutes in, he's handing out detentions like he's Oprah. "You, detention for talking. You, detention for looking out the window, no daydreaming in this class. You, why are you breathing so funny? You making fun of me? Detention." Kid in the back, let's call him Devin, finally speaks up. "Sir, you're here for 45 minutes. Chill. You better watch your tone, young man." Devin leans back in his chair, smiles, and says, "Bro, you're a spirit Halloween manager with a clipboard. Relax." Ooh, yo. The sub's just standing there frozen, clipboard shaking in his hand. Principal hears the chaos and he walks in. Sees the sub standing there red-faced. The sub then starts tearing up and runs out of the classroom. The principal had to finish the class. "Okay, what'd you guys say to him?" "Wasn't even that bad, dude. Bro's just sensitive." Alright, fine. Just open your books. Let's finish the class. The sub never came back to that school. Absolute KO. This woman had been dating this guy for a few months, and the first time she stayed over at his house, she wanted to take a shower in the morning, but she noticed there wasn't any towels in the bathroom.
Steven?
Yo, what's up?
There's no towels in here. Can I have a towel, please?
"Oh, yeah, sure, 1 second. Here."
Thanks.
She noticed that the towel he gave her was obviously super dirty, and it smelled horribly.
Steven!
Yeah, what's up?
Can I have a clean towel, please? This one's dirty.
What do you mean? No, that's clean.
It's definitely dirty. It's fine, though. Just get me a new towel.
Okay, fine. Here.
Thank you. Dude, this one's dirty, too. Did you wash these?
What are you talking about? You don't need to wash towels. Every time you shower, they clean themselves because they're getting wet. It's like the same thing as a washing machine.
So you never wash your towels?
Never. My mom did the same thing.
What? That is nasty. That is nasty. This is not gonna work. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go shower at my own place.
Oh my gosh, we made our first $2. No, we actually made $1. We gotta pay the security guard. Here. In some neighborhoods, kids run lemonade stands. You know, cute little summer businesses, 50 cents a cup, smiles all around. Not on this block, though. On this block, you needed protection. Every Saturday in this one neighborhood cul-de-sac area, these kids would all set up their lemonade stands. Some were different. Some had like strawberry lemonade, others had regular lemonade, some was selling like fruit punch. You know, it was a nice little thing that the neighborhood kids were doing. Anyway, they'd be all set up and they're good to go. But then here comes this 8th grader. Bike gloves on, backpack over one shoulder. He pulls up to the first stand. Nice stand he got here. Good traffic spot, nice weather today. Would be a shame if someone knocked it over. The little girl selling lemonade just blinks. She's almost gonna cry. But then her friend says, just give him one of our dollars. Hey, it's just a protection fee, okay? Covers you for the whole day. Accidents happen, you know. Have a good one. And he goes to the next one. You guys paying for protection today? You know, kids are scrambling. They're digging in their shoebox of change. Hands over $1. He nods. Pleasure doing business with you. And just like that, he's off to the next lemonade stand. Kid made $12 in fees that Saturday alone. Now, this guy wouldn't just take the money and leave. And although he came off kind of tough and mean, he actually would stay there all day and watch over these lemonade stands. So I guess they actually were paying for protection. Now, it was a pretty nice neighborhood, so nothing ever actually happened. But, hey, you know, you gotta respect the hustle, I guess. Sometimes teachers suck. The person that shared this story said that when she was in high school, she was one of the best art students in the school. Well, one of the assignments was that they had to design something on the computer and email it to the teacher. Well, one day in a different class, she was called down to the office.
Kayla Anderson, please come to the principal's office.
In the office was her principal, Kayla, have a seat, and her art teacher.
Hi, Kayla. Hi, what's going on? Well, I got your homework that you emailed, the graphic design project. Something was off, so I ran it in a reverse Google search.
Yes, and don't even try to deny this. We caught you red-handed.
What? That's impossible. I made that myself.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. Well, how come I found it on a random artist website?
What is the website?
Not like it matters. Read me the website. Okay, whatever. You plagiarized your project from KaylaJohnsonArt.com. Yeah, that's my website, you...
Black markets kids ran in their schools, a subscriber submission. At this person's middle school, the lunchroom never served any sides with any of their meals. So if they were serving hot dogs, it was just a hot dog. Burgers, it was just the burgers. Pizza, just the pizza. Well, the kids at the school thought this was bogus. Every good lunch needs a side. So this guy had a brilliant idea. Every morning before school, he would heat up a bunch of French fries in his air fryer. And I'm talking a lot of French fries. He would then put them in an insulated pack so they stayed warm. And at lunch, he would sell them to other students. It was an immediate hit. Business was, you know what I'm gonna say, booming. On average, he was making $100 a day. This went on for weeks. You can imagine how much money he was making. One day, the school found out what he was doing. But they didn't shut it down. They were impressed. So they gave him his own stand to run during lunch, where he would sell the fries that he made. All in all, he had made over $10,000. Let's be honest, none of you are going anywhere in life. What? Yo, that's messed up. So on this day, this teacher was already at her limit. Kids were talking in class, someone was playing Subway Surfers at full volume, and she snaps. She turns to the class and she says this. You know what, guys? It's clear that you do not want to learn, and let's be real. None of you are going anywhere in life anyway. The whole room freezes. People were shocked. Did she really just say that? Well, one kid stood up, and without hesitation, he says this. Clearly, you didn't go anywhere in life either. At this point, the class is losing it. She hits him with this. Sir, excuse me, you have no room to speak. You are literally failing my class. And that's when he ends her with this. Yeah, and you've been teaching this class for 19 years. You eat yogurt for lunch, still drive a 2006 Toyota Corolla, and you cry in the parking lot before second period. So I'm sorry, who's really failing here? A kid flips a chair. Oh my God. The bell rang. These students are going absolutely insane. She stands there frozen. She has no idea what the heck to do. And then as he's about to leave the classroom, he looks at her and says this. Hey, from now on, shut your mouth and let me fail in peace. See you tomorrow. And he left the room. That's absolutely crazy. One day, this class had a brand new substitute teacher. Nobody had ever seen him before. He just walked in, slammed his briefcase down, and said, I don't care what you do, just, try to be quiet, okay? Bad move on his part.
Because the second he said that, all hell broke loose. Two kids started playing Uno across their desks while one filmed the thing like it was a documentary. Some kid in the back just stood up and left. He didn't even try to sneak out, he just walked out the door. And the sub did nothing. At some point, this kid named Marcus stood up and started teaching the class. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to care for an axolotl. And the sub just nodded like he was fine with it. That's when a couple students who were sitting near the front row grabbed the substitute's briefcase and opened it. Inside was nothing. No papers, no lesson plans, no pens, nothing. That's when the sub looked at the class, nodded, and said, "All right, see ya." And then he left. Everyone was like, what the heck just happened? No one knew who he was, where he came from, or why he was there in the first place. But I bet you that day in class was the funnest ever.
Nothing is worse than being grounded in the last week of summer. Ryan's entire friend group had been together since kindergarten, but tomorrow, more than half of them were going to a different high school, so they were going to be split up. And this night was their last hurrah. It was the goodbye. But Ryan's mom didn't care about this. She cared that Ryan forgot to take the trash out on Wednesday. I don't care if it's an end of an era, Ryan. You showed lack of responsibility. You are not going to that bonfire. The bonfire was the event, across town at one of the buddies' houses. So that night, Ryan sat at his window, watching the group chat blow up with pictures of s'mores, the bonfire, smiling and laughing faces. It was the night his childhood was ending. He thought it was over, until he hears people talking outside of his house. Huh? What? He looks out and he sees Cam and his entire group of friends pulling lawn chairs out of Cam's dad's truck. All right, guys, grab them all. I got mine. Yeah, me too. They set up a portable grill in Ryan's driveway. They all sat around it, and they began roasting marshmallows. What are you guys doing? If you can't come to the fire, we're bringing the fire to you. So Ryan goes down there, and he joins them. Not long after, his mom comes out, and she's angry. But just as she's about to snap, a minivan pulls up, and one of the kid's parents comes out. They're not there to pick up the kid. They're there to join. Oh, hey, Carla. Steven said that you were having a bonfire in the driveway. We're here to join you. So, to not look like a horrible mother, she just said, yeah, grab a seat. I'll go get some drinks for us. And just like that, 10 kids, 6 parents, and a golden retriever all hanging out in her driveway. And she realized she wasn't just about to be a strict mom. She was about to be the person that ruined these kids' summer. The last one they'll get like this. The night ended, the kids said their goodbyes, they went their separate ways. And that just proves it. When the group is strong enough, not even the grounding of the century could stop the party.
Most kids start a lemonade stand to make some extra cash, but Dax was playing a much darker game. He opened a barber shop in his garage, and even though his fades were terrible, every kid was lining up for a $5 buzz cut. Step up, who's next? It was like the social event of the summer. Everybody was hanging out, listening to music, laughing at how bad the haircuts were. Bro, you look goofy. What? But Miles noticed something weird. After every haircut, Dax was picking up some of the hair and putting it in a Ziploc bag. Huh. Once the day was over, Dax had cut like 15 people's hair. Miles stuck around and asked him, "Bro, why were you putting your hair in bags? Hey, check this out." He brought him to a shelf, and on that shelf was hundreds of Ziploc bags. Each of them had hair in it, and each of them were labeled. This is Miles from August 12th. This one is Cooper from July 4th. Look at all these. I had the genetic blueprint of the entire 8th grade right here, labeled and dated. Miles just laughed. Bro, you're weird. But Dax leaned in. Everybody thinks I'm a bad barber, which is true, but they don't realize I got a much bigger plan. Next time someone does me dirty, steals my seat at lunch, makes fun of me, I'm gonna find a crime scene anywhere, and I'm gonna drop their hair right in the middle of it. What? Let's say Miles calls me a loser. Well, I hear sirens. I follow the sirens. A crime scene. There was a murder. Miles goes right on the floor. The police. Whose hair is this? They go to the computer. It's Miles. Miles goes to prison for murder. Bro, that is so messed up. And it was. And obviously, that really wouldn't work. But Miles made sure to stay Dax's friend, just in case. You would hate for some of his hair to end up at a crime scene.
You must clean the dish before you put it in the dishwasher. What? Kenny's mom had this incredibly specific belief that the dishwasher was only meant for sanitizing, not cleaning. If you put a plate in there with a smear of sauce on it, she would pull each and every dish out of there, give you a lecture, and make you wash every dish before you put it back in. Kenny, look at this. A smudge of barbecue sauce. Take these all out. rewash them, and put them in the dishwasher.
Kenny spent 45 minutes every single night scrubbing clean plates and cups before putting it in the machine.
He'd be there scrubbing, looking at it. Mom, it's literally called the dishwasher. Can't we just start putting them in there and that's it? No, Kenny.
He does this for years.
Scrub dish, put dish in dishwasher, dishwasher run, dish done.
One day he goes to his friend Steve's house.
They have dinner there. His mom takes all these greasy, messy, nasty plates and puts them directly in the dishwasher.
Huh, so Steve, your mom just puts them in the dishwasher?
Yeah, it's a dishwasher, Kenny. It washes the dishes.
Kenny then realized he spent years doing a pointless task because of his mom's OCD.
Mom, Steve's dishwasher cleans their dishes just fine.
Yeah, well, Steve's family probably shares a shower towel, so.
Jeez.
This school banned caffeine, but the no caffeine policy was failing. Every trash can was a graveyard for energy drink cans. But there were too many kids blatantly not following the no caffeine rule, so they couldn't punish everybody. So the next Monday morning, the dean announced that they have installed molecular sensors in the HVAC vents.
And don't bother with Gatorade cans or cups.
These sensors pick up the scents of taurine, caffeine, so if you crack a can, we will know. Now, obviously the dean was lying. That's not a thing. And a lot of kids knew that, but some kids were super gullible. So this worked for a few days. The hallways were silent and the bins were empty. No mountain of cans. But the students, they figured out how to blind the sensors. Now, this big group of students weren't the smartest, but here's what they came up with. Every time a student opened an energy drink or was sipping caffeine, 4 others would blast the nearest vent with Axe body spray. Cracking now? Spray, boys, spray! They figured if you overloaded the sensors with fragrance, they wouldn't catch the scent of caffeine. Now, like I said, the sensors were a lie, but now there was a real issue with school air quality. Halfway through the day, there was so much Axe body spray filtering through all the vents that it was unbreathable. They had to evacuate the school. Students, everybody please evacuate the building. We have a major air quality issue.
God, this is ridiculous.
The school was shut down for 48 hours. Now, this was at some school in a small town, so I guess that makes a bit more sense. But still, that's nuts. A $3,000 earring just sank to the bottom of a swimming pool. It was a July heat wave. The water at the public pool was cloudy. The deep end was super deep. Even the lifeguards were afraid. And at the bottom of the pool was now this girl's very expensive earring.
Somebody help me, somebody help me.
That's when everybody turned to this kid who was sitting in a chair playing with a ladybug.
Do something. Do something, Bug.
You see, they called this kid Gills, because every day in the summer he would play in pool water, then he would drink it. Don't ask him, dude, he's super weird. Yeah, but bro, if somebody could do it, it's Gills. Gills never used goggles. He said he could sense his surroundings through his fingertips. So they asked him, hey Gills,
Yeah, Bo.
we need your help, man. That girl lost a $3,000 earring. It's at the bottom of the deep end. And Gills did not hesitate.
I'm on it.
He dives right in. 1 minute passed, then 2. The snack bar worker paused the music. The crowd went dead silent. Everyone was waiting for Gills' lifeless body to float to the surface, when suddenly, a hand comes right out of the water, holding the earring.
Oh my God. Here's your earring. I also found a hot dog down there.
Free food! He ate the hot dog and sat back down with the ladybug. That day, the nickname Gills stopped being an insult. He was kind of a legend. And it all started because this one skate park, everyone called this kid the Professor. While the kids from the neighborhood were hitting the ramps, the Professor was sitting at the side with a notebook and a pencil. He didn't even own a skateboard. He just sat there, measuring the incline of the Death Gap, a 10-foot jump over the staircase that was very difficult. Degree angle, this one too. Then one day, the best skater in the neighborhood shows up. Let's call him Jackson. He was there to try to clear this death gap and make a name for himself in the neighborhood. I'm the best. I can do it. He tried 5 times. Every time, his board would scuff off and he would fall down. At this point, his elbows were bleeding and he was getting incredibly frustrated. Everyone watching was like, you're not gonna do it, man. You're still a good skater, though. Yeah, just give it up, Jackson. I'm gonna clear it. That's when the professor goes up to him. Hey, dude, you're actually approaching it from a completely different angle. If you hit it right here, just like that, I promise you'll clear the gap. The kid's just trying to help him. But Jackson says, shut up, dude, you don't even skate. I'm not gonna listen to you, loser. But Jackson had went over this jump thousands of times in his head. It's been in his notebook for days. He knows the angles. So he grabs Jackson's skateboard. Let me see this. He hops on, goes to the other end of the ramp, and he drops in. He's going. And he clears it. Whoa, he did it! Hey, nice work, man. What the heck? I told you, bro. If you listened to me, you could have had all the glory. But now, it's mine. Come on! Yeah, I'm awesome! The professor went home, and he never returned to that skate park again. And Jackson, that night, cried himself to sleep. And it's all because I was afraid to fall asleep in class. And this story is exactly why. This person starts by saying that Mr. Vance was a super chill teacher. What's up, class? Let's learn some history. He spent most of class leaning against the wall, talking about history like it was a bonfire story. Kids loved him. But he also kept a wooden paddle hanging on the wall right next to the whiteboard. No, it wasn't for hitting students. Why'd he have the paddle, you ask? Well, it was for situations like this. One day, this kid named Tyler, he had pulled an all-nighter. He had tons of homework to finish. And no matter how hard he tried to stay awake, he couldn't. The teacher clocked it. He then stopped teaching, went to the paddle, and walked by this kid's desk. And the kids in Tyler's row knew the drill. They all got everything off their desks and they kind of scooted back. The teacher then took that paddle and as hard as he possibly could, he smacked it on the desk right next to Tyler. And it was so loud. And Tyler didn't just startle awake. He hopped about 5 feet in the air. The teacher then went right back to teaching. Hey, stay awake. All right, class. And boy, is that the worst. Now, my teachers didn't have a paddle, but they would just take their hand and I would never sleep. Top 3 pettiest teachers. Number 3. There was a teacher that gave detention for somebody sneezing twice. The first time it was, bless you. The second time, okay, now you're just messing with me. Detention after school today. It was allergy season too, so for the rest of the week, these kids were fighting for their lives. Well, one day at the end of class, this teacher had a sneezing fit. All right, and oh, Miss Johnson, that's 3 sneezes. I guess that means you're suspended, huh? She never gave someone detention for sneezing again. Number 2, this one teacher right before class started one day moved the clock 10 minutes back just because she wanted to disappoint these kids when they started packing up at what they thought was the end of class. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I'm so hyped for lunch. Why are you boys packing up? Oh, miss, we only got 2 minutes of class left. Somebody check their phone. What the heck? That's right, I tampered with the clock. We have 10 minutes. It's time for group reading. That's just diabolical. Number 1 pettiest teacher. There was a teacher who failed the kid for using blue ink on a test. The problem was, she was the same teacher that lent him the pen. So you see, a kid forgot one. He asked, yo, can I borrow something for the test? Sure, here you go. She gave him a blue pen. Well, you see, in the syllabus, she had a rule where you weren't allowed to take a test with a blue pen. It had to be black. So he finishes the test, hands it in, and gets a 0. That teacher just wanted him to fail. And that's messed up. For some reason, in the middle of class, he pulled out a classical guitar, and he began playing classical guitar music in front of everybody. He was probably trying to show off his guitar skills in front of the students. Well, some kid in the back was whispering during it. Dude, last weekend was so freaking fun. That squirrel was awesome. Well, Mr. Thorne heard this. It was during the most delicate part of the song. He took a guitar, and he threw it right at this kid. It hit the wall and shattered. The guitar was expensive too, and the teacher just broke it. Everyone was stunned. Mr. Thorne then began to walk to the back of the classroom towards the kid. Mr. Thorne then reached down, grabbed the metal legs of the desk, and flipped the desk with the kid still in it. The kid was now pinned under the desk, and he was crying. The rest of the class still stunned. Mr. Thorne then walked back to the front of the room, looked at everybody and said, page 42, now. And he expected everyone was just gonna do it. But no, the kid who was flipped walked out, got the principal came, and Mr. Thorne was fired. And yeah, that makes perfect sense. The principal's toupee gets stolen during school. And within minutes, everybody knows, and everybody's joking about it. Dude, Mr. Kilman looks so dumb. Kids were whispering in the hallways, even teachers were trying not to laugh. And whenever he walks down the hallway, people pull their phones out to record him. He's humiliated. He's trying to act normal, but he's falling apart like a sad little puppy. And for a second, you almost feel bad for him. But then you remember, yesterday he called you into his office. He thought you were involved in a fight that you weren't involved in. So you're in there, and he's just going in. No, don't you lie to me. I know you were involved in this. You're a horrible student. I knew the second that you got here, you were gonna cause trouble. And I bet your grades suck, don't they? Let's look them up. You know what? I'm not gonna look them up. I'm just gonna send you home to your horrible mom. You know, she was in my class when I taught here years ago, and she was horrible then too. Get out of here. Pretty brutal. And here's one more thing.
You know exactly where the toupee is because you saw the kid that stole it. He secretly hid it behind the trophy case. Nobody else knew. And that kid is definitely not coming forward, so now it's only you. You could grab it, hand it back to him, be the bigger man, and maybe the principal will treat you differently, or you could destroy the toupee and let him be humiliated for the rest of the day. What would you do? Top 3 principals on a power trip. Number 1, this principal banned all backpacks because the hallways were messy and crowded. So now kids had to carry classes worth of stuff in their arms all day. Folders ripping open, papers on the floor. Meanwhile, this principal still walks around with her leather briefcase. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me. Became such an issue, parents kept calling the school asking why backpacks weren't allowed. After a few days, so many kids started asking the principal about her briefcase that the rule died. The next one, this principal was tired of students being late to first period, so he forced every single teacher to lock every single classroom door the second the bell rings. And if you don't do it, there's gonna be problems. Didn't matter if it was raining outside or if your bus was late. If you weren't there before the bell, you weren't getting into class and you had to go to the office. One morning, a school board member showed up for a surprise visit, and when she walked through the hallways, she saw tons of students banging on their classroom doors trying to get in. What is going on here? Number 1, there was a principal who decided students were too loud during lunch, so he made the cafeteria completely silent, and detentions were handed out to anyone that spoke even one word. Milk. Detention! Hundreds of kids eating in total silence. It was completely insane, until one day this kid brought a whoopee cushion. He thought it would be funny to prank his friend during silent lunch, so his friend sits down. It was a slow, loud whoopee cushion fart. Everyone was silent for a few seconds after that. Then they just burst out laughing. Even the principal. Okay, we can talk again. I guess all it took was some light-hearted fart joke to turn the mean old man into a softie again. You ever go to a neighborhood garage sale and see somebody selling a vintage camera for like $5 when it's actually worth $500? Most people just let it happen, but not this kid. Yeah. He's 13, he's got a tablet, and he's running an appraisal firm in his neighborhood. You see, these families near his house, they have garage sales all the time, and they have no idea what they're selling. They're just clearing out their attics. Then the lowballers show up. Oh, that's a big box of Pokemon cards. How much? Oh, you can have them for $5, sweetie. Perfect. Well, you see, that's when the auditor would show up. He would walk up to a neighbor's garage sale and say, I don't want any of your money. I just want 10% of the extra cash you make. He then pulls out his tablet and he starts appraising every single item that these people are selling. He would check on eBay to see the realistic price. Sir, this camera's worth $200 and you're selling it for $3. What? Oh my God, really? That's so good to know. Imagine a guy trying to pay $5 for an old dusty lamp. Yeah, that sounds fair. Actually, that's a mid-century original lamp. It sold for $85 yesterday on eBay. You can have it for $60. People pay. By the end of the day, he would make $100 in commission without having to sell a single item. And the neighbors he's helping are so grateful. And honestly, I never thought about this, but it's genius. And this time, I definitely gotta say, respect the hustle.
সরি আমি আমার কাকে কি বলি তুমি তো আমার 1 লক্ষ টাকা বেতনের চাকরিই করো না তুমি কি হয়ে দিবা
আমি বুঝি আমার মেয়ের সিকিউরিটি শোনো তোমাকে 15 লাখ টাকাই দিতে হবে একটা
কিন্তু আমি এখানে এক মুহূর্ত আর থাকবো না আমার এখানে দম বন্ধ হয়ে মারা যাব আমি
শৈলী রাতে বাড়িতে চলে এসেছে তাছাড়া
তুমি যাচ্ছ বিপরীতে আবেগ বাড়ছে বহু
ভাই আজকে না ভাই বুঝছেন কাজের চাপ বেশি আর বাসায় ফিরতে হবে সিঙ্গেল মোড
মানে পরিচিত কোনো আদার্স ভালো অপশন যদি থাকে সেখানেও আমাকে একটু রেফার করেন
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে তুমি প্যারা নিও
ওইভাবেই বাবার সাথে কথা বলবো এখন তুমি কি বলো কিন্তু এখন আমাদের একটা সুস্থ জীবনে ফিরে আসা উচিত একটা নর্মাল লাইফ লিড করা উচিত
না হলে না হবে আমার কোনো প্যারা নাই তো আরে চাকরিটা
আর কত বলবো তুমি শোনো মা প্রোগ্রাম আছে ওটা শেষ করেই আসবে আমাকে বলেছে কথা হয়েছে
আর আসছে যেমন ছেলে
হ্যাঁ বাবা সবসময় কি পাওয়াতেই সুখ? তোমার গল্পটা না হয় না পাওয়াতেই হলো, তাতে ক্ষতি কি?
অনেক কথায় মুখর আমায় দেখো।
আমি ওকে ভালোবাসি বাবা।
আমি জানি তুই ওকে ভালোবাসিস। ও সুস্থ থাকলে তো কোনো কথাই ছিল না।
জুতা এখানে কি করতেছে তোর? ও জোড়া আকাশ থেকে নেমে এলো ছোট্ট একটি প্লেন, আমি কুচলে মেরে চলে ভাইয়া, ওর লুকাতে হবে, পালাও।
বুঝেছি, কবিগুরু বলছে যে বুঝাইলে নাকি বিপদ হয়। আমার বিপদ হয়ে গেছে, জুতো চুরি হয়ে গেছে আমার।
যখন টাকা হবে তখন নিয়ে যাব, তারপর সেই জাহাজ নামাবো কোথায় জানো? সমুদ্রে।
ইসেম আমি পাগল মাস কয়া।
আমি এটা খেলে কি তোমাকে মারবা?
না, তুমি তো খাচ্ছ, আমি কি তোমাকে মারতেছি?
কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর বলেছেন সব ষড়যন্ত্র এই মির্জাফরের।
বাবা বারবার বলছে কারা জানি ওকে মারছে, একটু সাহস হয়েছে নাকি?
জানি না।
জানি না মানে? আমি তো ভাবলাম একটু একটু বেড়েছে, তা না হলে এখানে ডাকলে।
একটা ভালোবাসাকে, একটা সম্পর্ককে। আমার আসলে দুটো নারী থেকে একটা নারীকে বেছে নিতে হয়েছে।
যেখানে কোনো সম্ভাবনা নেই সেখানে আপনার জীবন জড়িয়ে নষ্ট করে কি লাভ?
আমার একটা মা আছে, হ্যাঁ, মার কোলের ভিতরে তো বসে থাকি, দায়িত্ব অনেক। তোর তো কিছুই ঠিক নাই, তুই আমার সাথে আয় তো আয়। আমার সাথে আয় না। এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট এক মিনিট আপনার একটা মাস্টার্স কোর্স করা চলে। Why? What is this, man?
ওই স্মোক করবো। I have smoked.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, কিচ্ছু করতে হবে না, আমি গোসল করে দেবো, শান্ত ছেলের মতো বসে থাকবা। হ্যাঁ, প্রমিস?
কবিগুরু বলেছেন ভাবো না, আমি হাঁটতে যাবো, আমার পেট বড় হয়ে যাবে না হবে।
তোর সুখের জন্য আমি সব করতে পারি। তুই তুই এভাবে ভেঙে পড়িস না। তুই ভেঙে পড়লে আমার খুব কষ্ট হয়।
আচ্ছা, চোখের গভীরতা কতটুকু পেলে?